Hey there, grade 5. This is Mr. B, and we are going to do a bit of a number sense review for our test that we will probably do on Monday or Tuesday, seeing how everyone is doing. So we'll see how this goes. So today, just hopefully we'll keep this quick. I'm not going to go over everything. You're going to get a sheet back. So I'm going to actually skip down to the expanded form. I think we can all figure out how to write numbers as words, right? So we'll skip that, and we also base 10 blocks. I won't show the whole thing, but I will show you how to draw them, right? For a 1,000 block, you can do something like so, even though that's not the best one. Hundreds can just be flat. Tens can be like that, and ones like that, right? So that's basically what you need to be able to do for that one, and just to recognize what's in each column. If there's a 2 in the hundreds column, you need 2 of the kind of squarish ones. Okay, perfect. So expanded form, we did cover this. Let's just look at this one here. I'll just do the example with you. So 9,812. When you expand that, basically what you're doing is you're chopping all these bits into their own little piece. Okay, so we're saying that there's 9,000 plus 800 plus 10 plus 2. And this all together makes 9,812. So that's all you're doing there, right? And then the one thing you need to make sure you're remembering is you're looking at the place values, right, to tell you how many zeros. And right, really the idea is that there will be that many zeros behind it. So if you get something like 32,000, it would be equal to 30,000 plus 2,000, right? And you don't need to do anything for the blank spaces. So that is that. So we can continue on. The next one's actually an interesting test review, and I do like this idea. It gets you to think about what happens when you add certain things. So what you have here in the example is you have 7,914, and then on the flip side you have it equals or plus something, and I mean it tells you there in the box, but just pay attention to the video for now, equals 800 or 8,014. And so what's asking is how much did you add by? And if you look here, well, 8,000 is 100 more than this, so we will add 100. This is easier to see if we had something like 36,072 plus blank equals 3,772, right? And you add 100. Oh, well, we already have the add sign. You add 100, right? You will go up by 100. And so what happened here, right? You added 100 to this line, and this became a 10, and so you got that, and you got this number, right? So that's all you're doing. You're just adding the hundreds, thousands, and you have to figure out which one you added by, or which one's added by. The next question is just to make the biggest number with these digits. So I'll just give a random set of digits. We'll do 1 and 9. Now the deal here is basically all you want to do is remember that whatever is on the furthest this way is the largest in a number, right? So if you have a 9 here, right, this will be equal to 9,000. 9,000 is a lot bigger than 1,000. It's also bigger than 9, right? So if you put the 9 at the far in the ones column, you're not getting the maximum use out of your 9 there. So what you want to do is you want to order these numbers from largest to smallest, so that the small number is only in the ones value, right? And if we do the expanded version, you'll see how this is helpful, right? So 500, you don't need to do this in the 30, and then plus 1, right? So each of the small ones you relegated to small place values, while the bigger ones you relegated to bigger place values. Okay, perfect. So that kind of shows us all we need to know for that one there, and we're just moving on at lightning speed. Remember, you can always slow this down or watch something again. The next thing is when you exchange tens for hundreds or ones for tens. So the thing here for an example is if you have 3 hundreds, and I'm just, well, whatever, hundreds, and plus 18 tens, right? 18 tens is equal to 180. And so what we always do with 18 tens or anything like this is that we convert anything over 10. We take the tens away, right? And we regroup. We do this all the time. Sometimes when it's like this, we get confused. This is basically like having 18 big blocks of like the straight blocks. And what we want to do is take 10 of them and make them into a 100, right? Because as I showed you, this is equal to 180. And so we don't want to have those in the tens column, just as if we were adding, right? When you get up to 18, you take the 1 and you put it over. So what ends up happening is you regroup this to have 4 hundreds, right, plus 8 tens, right? And yeah, you can see that this is the right way to organize it. First off, even in this way, it makes it simpler. And you can see that this is the same amount, right? So 400 plus 80 is equal to 480. And in this case, the top one, you'd have 300 plus 180, which is also equal to 480, right? So we're just saying the same thing. We're just regrouping it properly, right? So if you ever have anything in the tens column, in the tens area, you would want to move it over to the hundreds. Okay, perfect. So we'll move on. I hope you understand that. We have gone over that before, so I don't want to take all the time. The next one is just simply adding. And remember, you can always ask me questions on Google Classroom. I will try and respond as promptly as possible, or by email. So the next big one, we'll just do 1A, right? All this is asking is for you to add. So 299 plus 322. So this is a good question because it's getting you to regroup a few times. So what you do is you add 2 plus 9 gives you 11, and you go bring the 1 over here, and then 2 plus 9 is 11. You have this 1, so it's actually 12, and then you bring the 1 over there, right? This is the same thing, right? When this 1 that comes over was when you had we had 11 in the ones column, and so we bring the 10 ones over and make it 110. This time we had 12 in the tens column, and we brought the 10 of those tens and we made them 100, right? And so we made them 1 of 100. Okay, so that's really important. And then all we're doing is 5, 6, right? So there we have it. That's your answer there. With subtraction, it's much the same. I'm going to make up a different subtraction question just so. We'll just do 299 minus, actually, how about we'll do that, and then we'll go minus 136, and we'll see here, right, regrouping. So with subtraction, right, it's the opposite direction. What we're doing is we can't subtract 6 from 0, so we have to take here and we make this into a 6, and we borrow one of the tens and we break it down into 10 ones, right? And then here we're doing 6 or 10 minus 6, which gives us 4. 6 minus 3 is 3, and then 1. And there you have your answer, right? So continuing on, we'll go to, there's a few little questions here about using math and money, right? So this is, again, it's just 10 timesing things. So we did this yesterday, actually. So this is kind of getting a little bit ahead of itself because we haven't really dealt much with money, but that's fine. So if you have something that's $3.25 and you buy 10 of them, all you're going to do is you add the 0. Now with money, what happens is there's this kind of break here. It doesn't really complicate things too much, but whenever a number gets over, it just crosses over here. So what you end up having to pay if you buy 10 of these is you'll pay $32.50, right? This, as everything moves over a slot, right? So you still have this dot here, right? And these are cents and these are dollars, but that's fine. So yeah, you just move it all over, right? You see the 2 goes into the ones column, the 3 actually moves into the tens column, and the 5 cents becomes 50 cents, because if you have 5 cents and you times it by 5 cents and times it by 10, you'll get 50 cents, right? And if you have 20 cents and you times it by 10, you'll get $2, right? Just like having 10 cents times that by 10 dimes plus each other. If you have 10 dimes, you'll have $1. If you have 20 dimes, you'll have $2. So there we go. That's what that one's asking. So just yeah, be mindful of what tens do. The next question I'll just help you with is 4. Now, yeah, I see that some of this is actually a little bit harder, and we will not be doing all of it. We won't have to do the multiplication page questions, okay? So we'll skip those. You can try the subtraction question there on 4. So 4 is good, but the other ones are a little bit, we haven't really studied that, and I don't want to get too far, though I did mention I don't want to cause any problems. So 4 is interesting. I'm not going to do it exactly, but I'll do something like it. If you have 100 and you subtract something like let's just say you subtract 91, right? So you can't borrow from here, you can't borrow from here. So what you have to do is you borrow from here, and this becomes 10. And then you have to borrow from here, which makes it a 9. And then you get this one here being a 10, right? So as you go over, you have to borrow again and again. So you can't just borrow directly from the hundreds. You have to have the 1,000 or the hundreds converted into tens, and then you can convert the tens into ones, right? So 10 minus 1 is 9, and 9 is 0, so you get left over with 9, right? I can show one more time, right? If you have 1,000 and you subtract, let's just say 299, right? What you have to do is here, you're going to borrow, you can't borrow from here, you can't borrow from here, you can't borrow from here. So you take this 1,000 and you break it into 100, right? Or sorry, you break it into 10 hundreds rather. And then you have to borrow from here. So this is now 9 hundreds, and you have 10 tens. And you break this down here, and you have 9 tens, and you have now 10 ones, right? So you have to kind of skip it along, right? So normally what'll happen is you'll have 9s along the top, except for the last one. So that's how that'll work. So here, right, it's 10, so you get left over with 1 there, and this is 0, and then this is 7, right? So that it will be your answer there, and this could be, right, this is not too far from 10 minus 70 would equal 3, or minus 7 equals 3, and you can see 299 is quite close. Okay, I think you can do most of the rest of it. So yeah, you'll just have to pay attention and work hard on these sheets. If you have any problems, just let me know. Ciao. Bye.